Okay, so welcome to all those on video as well. We're on week 2 of our sequence, so still taking things a little bit more gently, slowing everything down.
I don't think you quite managed to mute us all.
Oh, thank you, Mike. Glad somebody's on the ball. Yes, I'm going to shut you all up. There we go. Done. Thank you. Great. Okay, so we'll start by lying down. We'll take these first few minutes of class just to move into a different conscious state, to begin to tune into the body and observe the breath. So, as always, just taking a moment to scan your body. And those of you who've been doing this with me for a while now, you may have your own preferred way of doing it. I like to start at the tips of the toes and just move my attention up through my body, tuning into the different areas. But there may be other ways that you prefer to do it, maybe tuning into individual areas of your body just randomly, or starting at the head and working down. And it doesn't really matter which way or how you do this. You're just looking for an awareness of the physical sensations in the body. You're looking for an awareness of a consciousness of how the body's feeling today. So you can notice if there's any discomfort in any of the joints. You can notice if there's, like for me, shortness of breath or difficulties with the breathing, or there's tension or tightness in the belly, feelings that you've perhaps not been able to fully process. Just beginning to really listen to the body and slow down the mind. And then you can begin to just slightly, softly alter your breath to begin with, not anything too drastic, but just beginning to observe the breathing and perhaps take a chance to deepen and lengthen it. And then become more aware of the belly rising and falling with the breath as you slow it down further and deepen it, lengthen it. And then finally moving into full yoga breaths, starting in the belly, moving through the rib cage, finishing in the chest. And exhaling from the chest, from the ribs, from the belly. Inhaling into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest. Exhaling from the chest, from the ribs, from the belly. And just maintain that conscious breath. And I'm just going to set up for us this evening a pranayama exercise. I've been doing more and more pranayama recently. I certainly find that once you begin to delve into more advanced yoga practices, it's really hard not to get more involved in the breath, because the breath is, of course, the most advanced layer on top of the yoga asana. And for many people, they just really work with the physical practice of the poses without really exploring that other side of the yoga, which is the breathing, to an advanced or deeper level. But the more yoga you practice, the more that naturally occurs that you start to explore the breath, because of course the two are very intertwined. Yoga is really about this observation of the breath and this monitoring of the breath. So beginning to move into some more pranayama type exercises can really enhance your physical practice, because it just helps you develop that conscious awareness of your breathing, which really takes your yoga to a new level. So we may begin to just bring this into our classes a little bit more, a little bit of pranayama at the beginning of class, just beginning to develop that control over the breath, which will really help us as we move into our actual moving poses. So what we're going to work with tonight is the box breath. This is a very standard pranayama. It's, for me, the most useful in terms of it can help you calm the body, calm the mind. You can do it for a very short period at any time of the day, just to re-establish your breath. And as I said, I've been struggling a bit with my breathing, so this has been really helpful for me just to rebalance myself, to reconnect to my body. And the box breath is basically inhaling for a count, retaining or holding the breath for a count, exhaling for a count, and then retaining or holding after the exhale for a count. So it's 4 sides of the box. And we tend to inhale for slightly longer than we retain, and to exhale for slightly longer than we inhale. So the count we're going to use tonight will be 4, 3, 6, 3. So we'll inhale for 4, we'll retain for 3, we'll exhale for 6, and we'll retain for 3. And I'll count you through it. And if the count feels like it's leaving you breathless or a little bit panicky because it's not suiting your breath capacity, then just go at your own pace. Maybe that will be 3, 2, 4, 2, or something like that. Or maybe you might want to lengthen it out. So to begin with, just finding that full breath, just allowing the body to be full of breath to begin with and to be soft and relaxed, because it's very hard to breathe when you're tense. And then we'll all exhale together. And we'll inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3. Inhale fully, exhale fully, and then just let go of breath, let go of thinking, just allow the body to breathe for a moment. And then just for a moment observe how that feels in the body, and also your mental state, whether you found that a little bit stressful. Sometimes manipulating the breath can feel a little panicky and stressful if we're not used to it, or it can feel very calming, focusing, relaxing. No judgment as to what you find, just an observation of how the pranayama left you feeling this evening. And if there are any questions or anything you wish to share with me, then please do so at the end of class or drop me an email, and we can begin to explore this wonderful world of breath as well as movements. So now we're going to hug the knees into the chest, just rocking a little from side to side. And we'll take our warm-up stretches, taking the arms out to the side, dropping the knees to the right, turning the head to the left. So I talked a lot last week about repetition at the beginning of class, and just sort of reiterating that these warm-up stretches are the same every week, and I do that very deliberately. And as I joked last week, not just because I have a lack of imagination when it comes to warm-up stretches. Let's pull the belly in, bring the knees up and over. Because I'm hoping with this first section of class that's the same every single week, you can really tune into how the body has changed over the week. So you may notice that this week your back is much stiffer in this pose than it was last week, or you may notice that your hamstrings are more flexible in the next stretch that we do. And it just gives you an indication of where your body's at today that is the same each week. Not where your body is at, but obviously the actual pose we're doing. So let's bring the legs up, place the feet flat. So it's like in science you need to have your unvariable sort of measure, and these poses are that, so that you can see how the body has shifted today. So we're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee, pulling the left knee in, and we'll just take a moment to experience our glutes this evening, and maybe notice and compare to other weeks when they've been tighter or more flexible. And that just gives us an indicator of how the body is sitting today. And then we can just slowly start to stretch it out using the breath. And the other aspect of a repeated warm-up that I also stated last week is that the body immediately knows that this is the start of our yoga class because it's done it so many times before. Placing the left foot down, extending the right leg up. It's a habit that we create, and it's really important with the physical body that we create habits, that the body is then triggered into a certain conscious state. So through these repeated warm-up stretches every week, the body and the mind immediately know that this is the introduction to the yoga practice. And it just really helps the body and the mind get straight into that conscious state where it knows what's coming. So again, that's another reason for this repeated first section of the class. Placing that foot down across left ankle over right knee and ease, pull in the right knee, squeeze the left knee away, ease into the hip and glutes. Again, just preparing the body and the mind to get into the state that we require them to be in for the rest of class. So placing that right foot down, extending that left leg up, and just feeling into the back of the hamstring, noticing and observing how it feels today, not making any assumptions about where we think our body should be at this moment. And then rocking up to sitting, extending the legs out. And it's reaching forward for a hamstring stretch. It's particularly useful for someone, say in Mike's position, who's had an injury or has been forced to take time off yoga due to other reasons, because then you're just beginning that exploration again. And if you're coming back from an injury or a surgery, you're actually working with a body that is different or changed from before. So you cannot make assumptions about the body you're now in, because it won't be the same as before. You have to then begin to understand what's shifted through the injury, what may be better, what may be worse, what may need more strength, what may be weaker. So it's a real exploration. We can't just jump on our mat and just assume that we are the same as we were last time we practiced, because that is not the case. And swinging the legs around, we'll come to 4-point kneeling, and we'll do a few rounds of cat-cow. So I guess what I'm saying really is that in this opening section of class, I've talked a lot this week, but normally it's a little quieter and there's space for you to go within and just really observe and notice what's happening for you, and to always come to it with a fresh mind, with an interested and willing curiosity as to what the body will be, what the body will do today. Not just jumping on the mat and expecting it to be a certain way. Let's press back into child's pose, reaching the fingertips forwards, stretching out through the arm lines and shoulders, and finding the breath for a moment. And then let's just move it into downward facing dog. We'll pedal out the heels in down dog, lengthening alternate heels to the floor, breathing into the backs of the legs. And if it feels comfortable, maybe a single-legged dog to help you stretch into your hips. And of course into the Achilles and calves when you're in single dog, that's a stronger stretch as well. And then just examining and noticing the breath here. Right. And then we'll lunge the right foot between the hands, dropping the back knee, and then we'll come to a hip flexor stretch, lifting the chest, dropping the hips, focusing that breath once again, and just noticing where the tightness is in this pose. If you can soften and release into that tightness. Having a twist by pressing down through the left hand and reaching up through the right. Allowing the shoulder heads to turn, the chest to rotate. And then maybe reaching back for the foot and adding a quadricep stretching as well. Good, let's switch sides. Right leg back, left leg forwards, and again exploring into the hips, into the hip flexor. And finding that breath. And then we'll place that right hand down and lift up through the left, twisting through the heart. And then maybe adding in the quadricep stretch. And then we'll step the back foot forwards and we'll take a hanging forward bend. Just allow everything to be passive. Just allow gravity to stretch out the backs of the legs and the spine. Just again, observing and noticing the body that you have in this moment. It's not always the same, shifting each day. And then a roll up through the spine. Coming up to stand or interlace the hands, press the breastbone forwards. And then pressing the hands away and stretching through the upper back. Good, and then we'll have a quick shake out. Just open the door a sec. Air in here. So, if you did last week's class, you'll notice that we've shifted into Ashtanga sun salutations for this class, just for a bit of variety, really. So, not so much lunging, offering your premium. Just to give it a little bit more variation, less lunges, so less opportunity to open the hip flexor. But really with these sun salutations, an opportunity to get the flow and the breath really going. And I'm adding in the high planks again this week. So those of you who feel able or wish to, you can just take regular plank, which looks like this, or you can take a modified plank with the knees on the floor. High plank is to push the mat away and arch through the upper back. So it really feels like you're trying to get that mat away from your face as much as you can. Try not to scrunch the shoulders up. You can push the mat away but still have the shoulders pulling away. But you're just lifting up through the heart space. The lift is coming from between your breasts at your breastbone. And it just engages so much more of the upper back muscles that it really creates a lot of strength there. At the same time, you're going to tilt your pelvis slightly, tucking it under. So your pubis bone lifting up, and you're going to pull your belly button right in. So it looks like this. You push the mat away, tilt the pelvis, suck the belly button in, and really gather everything between here and here up and in. And it just feels very, very different, the plank. You'll feel like these muscles are really working and burning, and so is the upper back. And it just creates more strength. So the option to do high planks each time in this, and you may want to do them and then not do them, then do them, not do them, because they are quite tiring. So just pace yourself. Mike, you might just want to watch your shoulder through some of that if it feels too much. Okay, let's come to the front of the mat, reset the breath. We'll take the first one quite easily, adding some extra breaths in, and we'll flow a couple of rounds as well. When you're ready, inhale the arms floating up. Exhale, forward fold with a flat back, hands to the floor. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back to plank, and just take a breath or two, either in regular plank or finding that high plank with that real connection through the core and through the back muscles. Continue to breathe. Make sure you're not holding the breath here. One more. And then you're going to push forwards through the toes, coming over the wrists. Drop knees, chest, hover chin for the first round, and we'll release to the floor. We'll inhale, just take a baby cobra with no weight in the hands, and then we'll exhale, push back. You can take child here or straight to downward facing dog. You're going to take 5 breaths in down dog. If you're in child, take 2 or 3 in child and then join us in dog. And just use these few breaths to re-establish the breathing and also to really establish your foundation. So noticing that by spreading the hands and pressing the palms away and really pushing the heels down into the earth, that you've got a really firm foundation into the floor here. At the same time, you're really pressing the hips up. So you're both pressing down and lifting up at the same time. And dog is a really strong pose. There's a lot going on through the limbs. And then just find that conscious, preferably Ujjayi breath. And then we're going to look forwards and we'll just step the feet back to the front of the mat with a half lift flat back as you inhale. Exhale, forward fold, and make it a bit of a stronger forward bend as you take your chest towards your thighs and head towards knees. One more breath here. And then we'll reverse swan dive. So flat back, core engaged, arms out to the side as you inhale all the way to stand. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, swan dive to the floor. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or hop to plank and hold your plank or high plank for 2 full breaths. Good, push forwards through the toes, knees, chest, chin. Drop the hips, take a baby cobra and push back either child for a couple of breaths or straight to down dog. Re-establish the breathing, re-establish your foundation and you'll lift through the hips. Join us in dog. Good. Exhale, prepare by slightly bending the knees, looking forwards. Inhale, step or float to the front of the mat, flat back, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive to stand. Exhale, hands by the sides. Good. We're going to flow 2 rounds. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or hop to plank and lower down, chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, child or dog. Find your breath. Join us in down dog if you're in child. And prepare. And then floating forwards, inhale, look up, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, standing, rising, arms lift up. Exhale, hands to the side. Final round, inhale, arms lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or hop back and lower down, all on the exhale. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your breaths here, re-establish that foundation. Good, and then step or hop forwards, lifting the gaze as you inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back rise to stand. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good, just reset the breath, a couple of deep full yoga breaths. Good, we're going to move into a sun salutation. We will take the first round, adding in extra breaths, holding things a bit longer. So we're going to start with chair pose, but we're going to set it up. So to begin with, just sit the hips down to the floor as if you're trying to just brush your fingertips down. And if you can, then do so, but don't do so by collapsing your spine. Keep your spine long and your chest lifted. And you're sitting down by bending the knees and dropping the hips. So you should really feel this in the legs. And then we'll inhale, float the arms up overhead without coming out of the bend, without straightening the knees at all, coming up in the hips. Draw your shoulders away from your ears, lift your gaze, take a couple of breaths. working those legs really strong. And then exhale, forward fold. Good. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, step or hop to plank or high plank. Hold it here for a couple of breaths, re-establishing that really good strong core and that lift through the heart. And then knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. And we'll move to downward facing dog. So we're going to lift the right leg up into a single-legged dog. You can stay here for level 1, just enjoying that good stretch. Level 2, you're going to come to a high plank and try and touch your knee to your nose. Really pull up through the foot, get the heel high, press the mat away, engage through the core, find the breath. And then we'll move back to single-legged dog. We're going to step to warrior 1. So right foot to right hand back, heel spins down, set up the feet, and then bending the front knee, lifting the arms up. We're going to take 3 pulses here, just to get a bit deeper into the hips. Inhale, straighten the front knee. Exhale, pulsing down. We'll take 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, pulse. 1 more time. Now, how deep can you get into your warrior 1? Turning hips and shoulders forwards, squeezing shoulder blades down. Option to take drishti point upwards. And then we'll fold, lifting the back heel and stepping to plank or high plank, taking 2 breaths, engaging the core, flying up through the belly, pressing the mat away. Knees, chest, chin or chaturanga, up dog or cobra, to downward facing dog. Let's lift the left leg up into single dog. Option to stay here, working into the hip opening, or we'll come to high plank and bring the knee to the nose, flying up through the belly, pulling the heel up towards the hip, finding breath. And then back to single-legged dog. Let's step to warrior 1, left foot to the left hand, back heel spinning down, lunging into that right knee and drawing the arms up. Trying to turn the shoulders and hips to the front, squeezing shoulder blades down, option to take drishti up. And we'll pulse it here. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, sinking deeper. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more time. Good. Hold the final 1. Take a deep breath in. And then lift your back heel. Exhale, hands down. Step it to plank or high plank. Couple more breaths, engaging the core. Knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. And let's all take child's pose and just give the body a moment to reset, the breath to steady. And then tucking the toes, moving to downward facing dog. And taking a couple of breaths in dog. And then when you're ready, step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Then the knees, sweep the arms up as you inhale. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good, just shake it out. Are you getting that horrible sound again with the audio? Does it sound bad? You're not getting it? Oh, that's good. Okay. It's just my fans come on, so I assumed that you were all getting that feedback again. Fingers crossed it won't come back. If it does, good news is I'm getting some new tech this week, so by next week we'll be on a different system, and I won't keep getting this problem with the fan. That's really off-putting when it kicks in. Okay, so we're going to flow through 2 rounds of Sun Salute B. I've given you a little bit of a free break there to catch your breath. So Sun Salute B, very challenging on the breath. 1 breath per move. It keeps going. If it feels too much for your breath, please just take a break in child's pose. Allow the breath to settle. You can always join us again when you're ready. Having said that, I just need to catch my breath. And when you're ready, we'll come to chair pose. So bending the knees, inhale, lifting up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or hop to plank, lower chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Right foot steps to right hand, back heel down. Inhale, arms lift up, warrior one. Exhale, hands down, step back and lower to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg steps through. Inhale, arms float up, warrior one. Exhale, hands down, step back and lower, all on that exhale. Inhale, back bend of choice. And down dog or child's pose. Reset the breath. Steady the mind. And then when you're ready, step or hop the feet forwards, inhale, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, chair pose as we inhale, back up. Exhale, Samasthiti. One more round to go. Bend the knees, chair pose, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hop back, lower down. Inhale, back bend of choice. Exhale, down dog, step the right foot through. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, hands down, step back and lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, dog, left leg through. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, hands down, step back and lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, dog and child's pose. Reset. Bring up and down dog. When you're ready, step or hop forwards, inhale, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, chair pose, inhale. Samasthiti. Just close the eyes. Reset the body and mind. And shake it out. Well done. So we're moving on into a standing flow. It sort of takes the shape of a sun sleep bee, adding in some extra poses and some balances. So obviously we'll be going slowly through them. The only thing to really warn you about is we're going to come from triangle pose to a standing split. So from here, we're going to take the hands forwards and lift the back heel. Now some of you will want to hop the back foot in and then attempt to come to a standing split. Those of you a bit more advanced may want to try and get all the way from triangle into standing split in one movement. That's something that's quite fun to try. And then we're going from standing split, which more advanced may look like this, to warrior three. And then we're coming from warrior three to Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. So those of you who are more advanced will do as I just did and link the three balances together without allowing this foot to touch the floor. Level one, you may want to take each pose separately, i.e. you take your standing split, which may even look a bit bent at the front, that's fine. And then you'll tap the foot down, you'll come up, and you'll take warrior three from standing rather than from the floor. And then again, you'll take Utthita Hasta from standing. So you'll just break the three poses up. And I'd rather you did that and got a good balance on each one than attempted to flow them into each other and just spend the whole time sort of falling over. So just listen to your body and work the way you want. We will have plenty of time for you to take those little breaks, which means those of you who aren't taking those little breaks have to stand on them longer. But it's good for you. Let's come to the front of the mat. Reset the breath. Good, we'll start with a chair pose. Get nice and deep into those hips. Really sit the hips back so that you can actually lift the toes off the floor. You know the weight is into the heels. And then just see if you can get down another inch or two, almost like there is that toilet seat behind you and you just want to get your bum on it. And then breathe there for a moment. And we're going to put a twist in, hands to the heart, elbow outside knee, and really pressing the elbow against the knee to rotate the heart, trying to twist the heart towards the thumbs, breathing there, enjoying that rotation through the upper back. And then we'll inhale back to chair pose and we'll go the other way. And again, really squeezing elbow against knee to give that twist in the spine. Coming back to chair as you inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, looking up. Exhale, step or hop to plank. And hold your high plank or your regular plank for a couple of breaths, re-engaging those core muscles. Knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. Into downward facing. So once again, either staying in downward facing single dog, right leg up, or coming to high plank, touching the knee to the nose, and firing up the belly. This time from here, see if you can just land the right foot lightly between the hands, and otherwise swinging the leg through from single dog. Back heel down, we'll come up to warrior one, sinking nice and deep into your warrior one, lifting through the heart. And then we're moving it to warrior two. So just adjusting the back foot, taking that 90-degree angle through the feet, plunging nice and deep into that front knee. We're going to put a pulse into our warrior two just to get a bit deeper. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, pulsing down. Squeeze that knee over your little toe. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, pulsing down again. One more time. And then see how deep you can get into warrior two. Really working that front thigh now. And then we're coming straight to triangle. So it will feel like a long triangle. You're going to straighten the front leg and just tip like a teapot into Trikonasana. So this is longer feet than regular triangle. So really press through the outside edges of both feet. So you've got a good foundation for the pose. And then trying to stack the left arm right above the right by pulling the left shoulder and left hip back and just trying to get the side bodies lined up. And then just focus on your breathing. And then we're coming to standing split. So your choice how you get there. You may want to just float straight into a standing split. You may want to walk the back foot in, reset, and then make your way into your balance. If you're more advanced, you can start to take your head towards your knee. Whichever variation you're in, and even if your front knee is bending, please try and straighten the back leg. Try and kick the foot up higher, finding the breath. And then moving to warrior three. So either moving directly to warrior three from there, or standing up first, and then beginning to move into the balance. And then we're coming to Utthita Hasta. So again, you can reset or you can just move straight to it. You can either hold the knee or grab the big toe. And take a couple of breaths to find that balance. And we are actually going to also add a twist. So switching hands, you're either holding the knee or the foot. Now with the right hand, left hand behind the back. If you're super balanced, you can even turn your head. 2 more full breaths here. And we'll slowly release. Well done. So quite a tricky balance section. So if you're struggling, it was a long time on one leg, so just understand that that's not easy. Okay, we'll do it all on the other side. Let's reset at the front of the mat. We'll start with our chair pose. Bending the knees, inhale, floating the arms up, sitting the hips down, getting the weight into the heels, finding that slight back bend, lift through the chest. And we'll come back to twisted chair pose But option now to extend the arms away. If you do extend the arms, make sure that your left elbow is still in contact with your right knee. Moving back to chair as you inhale. And we'll go the other side again. Try and keep the elbow and knee contacting if you choose to extend. And then once more to chair pose as you inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or hop to high or regular plank. For 2 breaths here, really engaging the core, lifting through the upper back. Knees just chin or chaturanga. Up dog or cobra into downward facing dog. So opportunity to either stay here or hang out in single dog with the left leg up, or to crunch knee to nose in high plank. And then try to very softly land the left foot at the left hand from your high plank, or sweep it through from dog, lunging into the left knee, floating the arms up. Just finding your warrior one for a couple of breaths. And then we'll just open it to warrior two. Sinking deeper, opening the front knee towards the outside edge of your foot. Taking a breath or two there. And then we'll pulse deeper. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, pulsing down. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, pulse. 1 more time. Get nice and deep into warrior two until you really feel this thigh challenged and working hard. And then we'll just tip straight to triangle from there. So it's a long triangle. The tendency in a long triangle is to want to drop this hip and shoulder on the top. So really work on pulling right hip and shoulder back, trying to stack that side body over the left side. And then coming straight to a standing split from there. So option to readjust or even stand up first, or to just turn the gaze and float straight up into your standing split. More advanced, head to knee, chest to thigh. Shoot the back leg high. Straighten your back knee. And then floating to warrior three, or coming up to stand and dropping down into warrior three from there. And then moving to Utthita Hasta, either with a bent knee or catching the toe. And then, if you can, switching arms and option to turn head. Twisted Utthita Hasta. 1 more breath. And slowly release. Well done. Shake out the legs. Good. So we'll move down to some seated work. We're going to start with a bit of shoulder strength. Oh, my phone is freezed. Frozen. Freezed? My phone is freezed. Coming to the front of the mat. Now once again, just resetting. Let's inhale, the arms float up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or hop to plank and find your high plank once again. If you've still got some strength through the core to work with there. And then we're just going to drop the knees and come to 4-point kneeling. And we're going to extend opposite arm and leg away. Reaching so that the arm is level with your shoulder and your leg is level with your hip. And your torso is not twisting at all. The core is engaged, and then bringing the back down. Switching sides again, trying to maintain as much stillness in the torso as you can. She's going to pull her in, she's desperate. Sure. And then come down. And then just opening the knees, drop back into child's pose or hare pose, taking the knees wide, chest to floor, and reconnect your breath. So option to repeat that bug pose from 4-point kneeling, or you can take it from high plank, which makes it obviously a little bit more challenging. So either coming to 4-point kneeling or high plank. If you're in high plank, take the feet wide. That's my little tip to help you out. And then lifting opposite arm and leg, and switching sides. And then dropping back down to child or hare pose. So we are going to do a bit of shoulder, upper back strengthening work. We're going to put that bug or high plank with lifted opposite arm and leg. We're going to put in between each layer of our Vasisthasana. We're going to do 3 layers of Vasisthasana. The first round we're all going to modify. So let's come to, I don't mind which side you take actually, because I'm coming to my other side so that you can see. So we're going to modify the plank, hand, knee, and foot all lined up together, and then reaching the top arm away. Now, as I always say in side plank, the key to this pose is not to collapse in your lower shoulder. So it's easy to sort of be sitting in that shoulder joint. You want to press the mat away a little bit like a high plank and really get some space around the shoulder and in the armpit. And then you want to do the same in the hips. So instead of collapsing into the side waist, you want to be engaging and lifting through the side of your waist here. And just feel like everything is very engaged through that side of the body. And then we'll come to either 4-point kneeling or a high plank, and we'll take that opposite arm and leg lift on each side, just for a breath, and then modified plank on the opposite side. And again, find that engagement through the lower side body, that lift out of the shoulder. Option to turn the drishti upwards. And then one more breath in each side of your bug or plank bug, and then drop back into hare pose, knees wide, chest to the floor, stretch out the shoulders and lats. Good, so anytime you can just miss around and have an extra break, or you can stay with me. We're going to take our second round where the feet are one in front of the other. Same thing, you've got that lift out of the shoulder joint, that lift up through the hip and waist. Breath is steady. And then coming to bug pose, one breath on each side. Oops. And then other side Vasisthasana. And then bug pose. And then hare pose. Drop down, reset the breath, stretch out the muscles of the core, back of the core. And then final round, you can either repeat one of the earlier rounds or you can stack one foot on top of the other. If you're feeling really brave, you can attempt to lift the top leg or even catch the toe and extend it, but keep lifting out of the lower shoulder and hip. Doing that breath. And then taking bug, one breath on each side. And then Vasisthasana, final time. And bug, one more time. Find your balance, find the core. You should really feel the muscles in the shoulder, shoulders, back, and belly. If you've been correctly using your core, you should feel the burn there as well. Stretch it back into hare and soften the whole of the back line. Good, and then we'll tuck the toes, pushing back into downward facing dog. We'll lift the right leg up into our single-legged plank, Option to stay there or come to high plank and take the right knee to the right tricep. Pick up the foot, pick up the knee, get everything lifted as much as you can. And then everyone step the right foot outside the right hand and we'll come to gecko pose or lizard lunge. Keeping the back knee lifted for the first round, first variation I should say. Option to then come down to the elbows, get a bit deeper into the hips. And then final option, dropping the back knee and just getting a bit more passive into the stretch. And then working with Vismasasana, for those of you who want to, you place the hands back to the floor, you bring the right hand behind and outside the right foot, and then you're really trying to snuggle your shoulder under your knee. So that may be as far as you get, trying just to get your shoulder under your knee to get some contact between those two joints. If your shoulder is snuggled under your knee, you tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and attempt to pick up the front foot by pressing the mat away. It's high plank in the upper body. This is the moment we've been working towards. If you've got that lift or that high plank in the upper body, you can attempt to extend the leg out and then you come forwards, picking up the back leg. Option just to swing the foot back to high plank. We'll take knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Take your back bend and we'll thread the arm under, the right arm under for a threaded child. Well, let's do all that on the other side. So single-legged dog, left leg lifts. Option to hang out there or come to high plank, left knee, left tricep. Get it as high as you can. Engage the obliques on the left side. And then step outside the left hand. Keep the back knee lifted as you sit the hips low into gecko. And then coming down onto the elbows if you can or wish to. And then option to drop the back knee and be a bit more passive in the stretch. And then option to play with the arm balance or at least work towards that flexibility. Left hand goes behind the heel and lands outside the left foot. You're really trying to get your shoulder under your knee to make that contact with the shoulder under the knee. Then you can tuck the back toes, lift the back knee and get high plank in the upper body. Getting that left foot off the floor. Option to extend the left leg out. I don't have space, so I'll keep it bent. And then picking up the back leg. And then swinging round to high plank, knees, chest, chin or chaturanga, up dog or cobra, and into threaded child, left arm under. Good, and then from there we'll just tuck the toes under and sit back on the heels, get a bit of a toe stretch. Getting that plantar fascia nice and supple, really important if you've ever, I know I bang on about it, if you've ever suffered from plantar fasciitis, you know how important it is to keep the toes and soles of the feet stretched out. It really hurts and it's not fun and it lasts a really long time if you injure that sole of the foot. And then we'll tuck the feet the other way and we'll take the tops of the hands. Again, if you've suffered with a wrist injury, you know full well that that is not fun. So take the tops of the hands down, try and straighten your elbows, maybe turn the elbow crease forward, maybe lean back a fraction and just get that stretch through the wrist. Great, so we're going to move to camel for our back bends in this routine. So, as I always say with camel, if you've got tightness in your lower back or you're not very flexible through the spine in general, you'll just want to keep the toes tucked the whole time so that heels are higher, less of a back bend to reach them. If you're a bit more comfortable, you can keep the feet flat. We're going to start with half camel, lifting up through the right hand, slight rotation through the torso. You start to look behind you and you're going to reach the right fingers to the right heel. And then you're going to work on pressing your hips forwards and lifting your breastbone up. So at no point in camel do you think of going backwards. You're not going backwards, you're going forwards and up at all times. And the core is supporting the lower back. You are not crunching into the lower back. If there is a crunch there, feels uncomfortable, it means your core is not strong enough to support you. You need to come straight out of the pose, rest in child. Otherwise, you can join me for the other side, left arm lifting, a slight rotation, push the hips forwards, lift the heart up, and just grace the fingertips to the heel. And then coming back up, leading with the heart center, not compressing the lower back, and we'll take child's pose, reaching the arms forwards, to lengthen out that lower back. And then for our second round, coming back up, you can either repeat that or you can go a bit deeper, i.e. if your heels were up, you can try and take them down. Or you can take both hands at the same time if you feel comfortable to do that. But again, please get this action of hips forwards and heart lifting up. You're not going that way, okay? So when you're ready, you can take one or both heels. If you're taking one heel, take 3 breaths on each side. If you're grabbing both your heels, get that lift, take about 5 breaths there. Pushing the hips forwards as the back begins to release. You can bend a bit deeper by pressing the hips forwards, lifting the heart higher. And then to come out of it, lift through the breastbone as you inhale up. And sit back into child's pose once again. So you're either going to sit up and then lie yourself down, hugging your knees into your chest, or if you've still got a bit of energy, you're going to vinyasa your way to lying. And from lying, we'll hug the knees into the chest. Give the lower back a little massage by rocking from side to side. And then we'll place both feet flat to the floor. Bring your heels reasonably close towards your hips, and then right leg extends up for a hamstring stretch. So you're going to catch the right leg with both hands. And you're going to try and move the hands upwards towards the ankle or foot, but keep your right knee as straight as possible. If you comfortably have the foot or toes, you can extend your left leg out straight, keeping your left foot flexed and energy through the left leg. And then as the hamstring begins to release, you can start to draw the foot towards your face, feeling the back of the knee just softening, breathing into any tightness and resistance there. Good, and then if you're a bit tight in the inner groins, you want to bend your right knee and hold the bent knee in the right hand and take it out to the side. If you're a bit more flexible, you grab the right big toe and you take the right leg out, drop it out to the side and extend the left arm away, trying to keep your left hip down as much as possible into the floor. And then we'll inhale, the leg comes back up. And we're going to take a little bit of front core work because we've done a lot of back core, but we haven't really done as much in the actual sort of rectus abdominis, if you like. So we're going to pick up the right leg and grab it with both hands. And then you're going to pick up the left leg too. And then lifting up the head and shoulders off the floor. Try and get the shoulder blades right off the floor. And then we're going to do scissor switches, keeping the belly pulled in, the legs pointing, hovering off the floor. Get as high as you can with your upper body. You're trying to draw your chest onto your thighs. We'll go for 10, 9, 8, keep lifting, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering yourself down, hugging the knees in, giving yourself a little rock. Move side to side. And we'll do the other side, so placing the feet flat, lifting up the left leg, catching the leg or the foot in both hands, and breathing into the back of the leg. Option to extend the right leg out. And start to ease the foot towards your head. And then again, either holding the big toe or the knee in the left hand, take the left leg out to the side, extend the right arm away. And then we'll bring the leg back up. And this time we will take the arms out to the side and lift both legs up to the ceiling. We're going to do leg lowers. So you're either going to take one leg at a time or both together to hover an inch off the floor as you exhale, and then you'll inhale one or both legs back up. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hover an inch off the floor if you can. 3, 2, 1, and release. Stretch the arms and legs away from each other. Open into your abdominals. And then we'll come to bridge pose, bending the knees, placing the feet flat to the floor. Have the heels nice and close in towards the hips, hands by the sides. You're going to press the lower back into the floor, roll up through the spine, come up onto the shoulders, interlace the fingers, and push the hips towards the ceiling. Leaning into the chest, breathing there. And then slowly release and windshield wiper the knees from side to side. And then set up for a second round, or if you wish to go up into wheel, just bring the hands by the ears. And when you're ready, press down, lift up, get that opening into the spine. And slowly coming down. Rock yourself up to sitting and take a forward fold to really lengthen out the lower back. Really stretch all those muscles out that we've worked in the back down. And then slowly lying back down, we'll finish with a spinal twist. So either bending up one knee or both knees, taking it or them across the body into a twist. Close the eyes, soften the breath, soften the body. Let go of any remaining tension. And just finish as we began, really consciously observing your body. Noticing any shifts that may have taken place in the body, in the mind, in the breath, in the energy of the body. Hopefully it's ironed out some tightnesses. Hopefully it's opened up some areas that weren't open before. Hopefully you're more conscious of your breathing, more aware of what's going on within. Let's switch sides. And then make your way to Shavasana. We'll finish with 4 rounds, just 4 rounds of box pranayama. So to set us up, you're going to take a deep breath in. Exhale fully. And we'll inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Take a deep inhale, a deep exhale, and then just let all focus and attention on the breath go. Just allow the body to breathe on its own, let the mind be free and still. Fall into your relaxation, your meditation in Shavasana. Take as long as you can here to fully relax. And I'll see you all next week. Namaste.